Rain God Returns, Issue 3, The Stone Wasp Nest of Temple City. This is the beginning of the third set of videos in which I read from my comic book based on the novel. And I'm going to pause before I go into the content of the book, of the comic book, to look at the cover and the title page, because if you saw this in your comic book store, your local bookstore, you should be able to see what the comic's basically about just by looking at the front page and maybe the inside cover. So we have Cumix, who is the avatar of Rain God in the form of a shaman here on planet Earth, and he's channeling this lightning into this little pot here, and it's very bright. You can see he's even squinting himself. And on the inside, we see this character who's got a plaque around his neck, wearing a cape, and he's going after this little guy. This is we don't know who this is, but we know this is Sak Chen, and he's carrying a little basket, probably full of some cacao nibs, maybe. And here is what we can assume is the stone wasp nest, or at least I hope that's what you can assume. It's a hut with a little hole in the top, and there's something inside of it. It looks like oh gosh, darn it. Rain God Returns, Issue 3, The Stone Wasp Nest of Temple City. This is the first video of the third set of videos in which I read from my comic book, which is based on the novel. And before I go into the content, I just want to look at the cover here, because my idea is if you saw this on the shelf of your local comic book store, you should be able to tell what this is about, or at least be drawn in to what this comic book might be. And if you're looking at issue 3, you probably already know that this is Cumix, who is Rain God's avatar here on planet Earth in the form of a shaman. And he's channeling this lightning into this vat here. So something is going to happen very dramatic, and I hope that's very exciting for you. So that you open this page and you see another person who we don't know, doesn't look kind, and he's got a plaque around his neck, and he's got some sort of cape, some sort of like jaguar cape, and he's going after this guy who we know because we can identify his characteristic curled up little arm from the injury he suffered as a child. This is Itzam, who is Cumix's acolyte, and he's carrying a little basket, probably full of nibs, little cacao nibs, probably. So something bad's going to happen to this guy. And here's a hut with a hole in the top, probably for smoke, and something crawling out of it. And look, it's got, what is it? It's got a long nose and stalks for eyes. What could that be? Well, I'll give you a hint. It's probably something to do with this, with the long nose and stalks for eyes and a smoking axe on its head. This is a foreshadowing. So in the background, we have what you can guess would be a tablet with little tally marks on it, like it's a tablet for counting on, perhaps counting the days of the month, or maybe counting years. And here's a glyph that maybe describes some sort of event. So this is sort of like a calendar, what one might think. I know because I wrote this story. See, there's my name. We're going to start from where we left off. The three characters are on the river going through the forest. And the description here is, the boat followed the sun as it moved east to west, higher up the river, up into the highlands, where the water ran swift around limestone and granite boulders. Here they go. The young ferryman was quieter than the previous host, so they paddled in silence for the rest of the day. There's Sok Chen in the front, the ferryman in the back, and there's Kumix in the middle. That afternoon, before the sun sank behind the rustling treetops, Chok and Sak Chen arrived at the temple city. The path from the river was lined with potted ferns and palms, and Sak Chen saying, "I wonder who made all these big pots?" The ferryman's answering, "There's a village upstream dedicated to making pottery. They offer pots in exchange for prayers." And Chok is saying, "Same thing with these weird little statues?" And the ferryman says, "Yes." So the priests worship plants and statues. There's a look of irony on his face as he's holding the package from the village below. They worship all sorts of things here. If you want my advice, you should complete your business as soon as possible and leave. And steer clear of the head priest for Jaguar God. Shh. All I can say is that he doesn't like outsiders. "Greetings, ferryman." Uh-oh. Coming from over here. Uh-oh. That's what I said. There he is in his shrine. So they are walking up this path here. See, there's 3 little dots. Then that's them there. And there's where it came from. "Come over here. We better go right over to Jaguar Shrine," says the ferryman. Phew. Paved in stone. This whole plaza here is paved in stone. Gee whiz, this plaza is huge. Look, see, here's the shrine that Jaguar God priest was yelling from. And then here's all these little huts around in the middle of the forest. And there he is. "What have you brought this time, ferryman?" And there he is. He's got the plaque on there around his neck was a jaguar plaque. You can see the teeth and the mean eyes and the nostril nose. And he's got a jaguar cape, and he's got a fancy belt, of course. And he's standing in the archway, looks like stone archway of his shrine. And there's all of his acolytes. And one of them is saying to the visitors, "It is our custom to kneel." And ferryman already knows this. "Greetings, Jaguar priest. I bring a shipment of cacao and a shaman with his acolyte from below the falls." And he says to these guys, "Psst, shaman, you should kneel." And Chok has no idea what that means. "Huh? Kneel?" And Jaguar priest interrupts and says, No. He does not need to kneel. He must be a powerful chief back home. Tell me, friend, where is your village?" Kumix says, "They call me Kumix. I traveled here from the swamp 2 days away, but I'm really from the great ocean. I've come here to learn the great count." And Itsam says, "I think what Itsam means is that we desire to learn from the wise priests a method to track the movements of Hanaha." And Chok interrupts, "Also, I need to teach you a new ritual." And these guys are not impressed at all. They look a little worried. See, the great ocean, what does that mean? He wants to steal our wisdom. He's come to track us? Who here knows the great count? So even these guys don't know the great count. Apparently, these little acolytes who serve the Jaguar priest. Jaguar priest says, "Relax, brothers. If it is our wisdom he wants, and a method of tracking he desires, we will give it to him. This guy is not to be trusted. Look at his eyes. Look, they're little diamonds. Never trust someone who talks behind their hand to their friends." "Congratulations, Kumix. We have a job that will fit your skills just perfectly," he says as he grasps the man's shoulders. And Kumix says, "Job? Did I ask for a job?" Sok Chen says, "I think everyone gets a job here, Itsam." "Yes, indeed," says Jaguar priest. "But we currently have no one to keep track of our store of cacao. You'll be in charge of the whole warehouse," trying to impress him. "Oh my, what a great honor for our newcomer," says his acolyte. Will I learn about the calendar? Of course! In this exalted position, you will view every aspect of city life. And you, acolyte, will keep an eye on him. Yes, Itzam. And Kumix also asks, what about the new ritual? It is needed to regenerate the umbilicus of First Father. It is very important. New ritual? No. We already have that one. Oh, no, we already do that one. I have to read my script clearly. Look at his eyes, man. But you are excused, says Jaguar Priest. Take them to the warehouse. Yes, Itzam, says his acolyte. But, interjects Kumix as Jaguar Priest trots back in. Itzam, we should go, says Sakchen. You'll need to gain their trust before they accept what you have to say. We don't want to make them any more suspicious. Best to bide our time. This is the other guy's acolyte. He looks really shifty. Excuse me, esteemed Itzam. I must show you to your shrine. See, he's like, I must show you to your shrine. Oh, all right. And Itzam's already cottoned onto him. This acolyte, I don't trust him. So here's a little aerial view of the temple city. There's the path they came on. There's the calendar wall right next to the Jaguar Priest shrine, and these other huts are other shrines. And down here is the cacao warehouse, and also right there, it's a blow up. The cacao warehouse, quote quote, was actually an abandoned hut on the edge of the forest. It was as far from the Jaguar shrine as possible, secluded in the trees. I'll finish cleaning out this hut, and I'm going to go look at that calendar on the other side of the plaza, says Chalk. And Sakchen's throwing this pile of rubbish off to the side. No one had used this musty, mouse-infested structure for many years. Sakchen spent the first morning cleaning out broken pottery and strangely engraved clay tablets. And here they are. Little clay tablets stuck onto this plaster wall, which is about 7 meters high. It's got a thatched roof. It's about 16 meters wide. And it's built of mortared boulders. So it's very solid. Obviously an important part of this whole society. And Chalk seems to be studying it very clearly. This calendar seems to indicate knowledge of the beginning of the world. Yet, the counting system is so cumbersome, and it lacks a reference point. He studied the calendar all day. So we're going to pause here before I turn the page and wait a week, and then I'll read this next few pages for you. Thank you for watching. Hope you return.